Hey y'all, it's Craig with the Bickhams. Y'all, I've been waiting for this bread to get stale just so I could cook this cinnamon roll bread pudding with a bourbon sauce. So let's get after it. Our first step, so it's going to be about a loaf of bread, and this is some older bread, as long as it's just stale, but we're fixing to lightly toast it. So I've got the oven preheated to 350 on the speed bake, but we're going to cut these into like 1-inch pieces, and you can tell it's older because it's just, and I don't really care. I'm going to do it into thirds. Because it's just easier to do it that way. And I'm just going to do it into thirds both ways. I'll get that in a minute. And we're going to lay this on a sheet pan. Just kind of get them separated a little bit. And we're going to go in the oven, 350. I got it on the convection until it's just lightly toasted. Alright, so we got the bread chopped up. 350 degree oven. Just long enough for it to get slightly brown and dry the bread out just a little bit, and toasty is all we needed to do. So we'll put it in the oven and we'll toast the bread up real quick. Alright y'all, we're going to put together the egg mixture, milk mixture, but this is going to be a cinnamon roll bread pudding, a cinnamon roll with the bourbon sauce on the top. So we're going to put about 4 cups of the coffee creamer. We're going to use cinnamon roll flavored coffee creamer. I don't really need the lid, but we're still going to measure. We're going to see if it's going to take this whole bottle. I don't think it will. It's going to be close. Yes, a whole bottle. So that's 4 cups of the cinnamon roll. Now this is 0 sugar. All right, 4 cups of the cinnamon roll coffee creamer. Now we're going to measure with our heart. Some vanilla that I'll probably have to open. This is a brand new bottle. So I'm just going to, let's say about a teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm going to use the cap. So we're going to do a whole cap full of vanilla. 1 whole cap full of vanilla. And we're going to use 3 eggs. So 3 eggs. Right in here, we're going to be mixing all this up. We're going to use 1 cup of sugar. Alright, so we're going to use 1 cup of sugar. And we're going to use our cinnamon. It's going to take about, I'm going to have to get a measuring spoon. We're going to put a couple of tablespoons. Well, you know what? I'm going to use, now we're going to do 1 tablespoon. Or about a tablespoon and a half of cinnamon. And we're still going to put some cinnamon on the very top. And we're going to go right on the mixer. The bread's toasted. And we're going to mix this up good. And just mix it slow and let it take its time and get everything mixed up. We're going to start sticking the bread in our little pan. So just spray your pan just lightly. And we're going to just stick our bread. The pan's still kind of hot. We're going to stick the bread in here. And we're going to just be pouring our mixture over the top of it. Now we're not going to be stirring this. I want some of those little rough edges of this bread. Now you can use any kind of loaf bread. You can use French loaf, Hawaiian bread, whatever you like. This is just me using what we had here at the house that was stale. You're getting older, and this is a good way to use up your bread if you don't want to make like croutons or something like that. This will be a good holiday dessert for Christmas. Now we're not going to actually, it's going to sink once we put all of this liquid on it. We'll set that aside. Alright y'all, so now we're going to get ready to pour our liquid. So we're going to get ready to pour our mixture on top of the bread. So this is just all the eggs, the coffee creamer, and the cinnamon. And we're just going to pour it all over the bread mixture without spilling it everywhere. And just let all that goodness. And you're not trying to get like every piece coated, because you still want some of this to be a little bit dry to have those little crispy edges. And I would let it sit and kind of, you know, just mellow out before we stick it in the oven. Now I'm going to take some pats of butter before I put any more cinnamon. I'm going to try to do some thin little small pats. And we're just going to put some little small thin pats of butter around it. You know, just get a few here, a few there. Just kind of let it sit there a few minutes. Let everything kind of soak up and absorb. In the oven, 325 degrees on speed bake, which is what the convection's on, for, I'm going to check it in about 45 minutes. Alright, in the oven, 325 degrees on the convection oven for about 45 minutes. We're going to, if you don't have a convection oven, probably about an hour, till it gets nice and golden brown and everything sets up. I did add a little bit more cinnamon across the top of it too. Alright y'all, so we're going to make the bourbon sauce. So we've got, I had a little, this is about 3/4 of a stick of butter. It calls for half a cup of butter, but we're just going to use what we got right there. And we're going to heat that up, melt that down, and with a cup of sugar. So we're going to use 1 cup sugar, half a cup of softened butter, and once we cook this down and it incorporates and all the sugar is dissolved, add in 2 tablespoons of your favorite bourbon and stir it until it gets good and mixed up good, and we're going to remove it from the heat, and then once the bread pudding's ready, we will drizzle that all over the bread pudding. Alright, so the butter and the sugar is getting melted together. So once everything gets good and melted, we're going to add in 1 egg. I forgot that part. And once we add it, I'm going to take it off the heat, or I'm not going to have it on direct heat when I add the egg in. Now don't wait till the sugar gets completely melted. So you're just going to have to sit here and stir until it starts to turn liquidy. And then we're going to add in the 1 egg. Then we're going to remove it from the heat. And I'm probably going to put a dash of vanilla in with that bourbon. And then we're going to just pour it all in and mix it up. Alright, so we got it off the heat. We're going to go ahead and add the 1 egg. And when you add this egg in, once the egg's in, whisk it all together off the heat and just keep whisking. So the egg doesn't really cook. So I'm going to get the vanilla, and we're just going to hit it with a splash of vanilla. Just a little splash, because this is not, you're not making a whole bunch of this stuff. And our 2 ounces of bourbon. And we're going to get it all mixed up. So whatever bourbon you like, bourbon of choice. And that's going to cool it down. Ooh, you can smell that bourbon. And I'm going to actually put this on. I'm going to pour this on probably the last 5 minutes of cooking, and just let it kind of caramelize on top of that bread pudding in the oven. Alright y'all, so we're going to come out with it, and we're going to put the bourbon sauce on top. Y'all, it's looking really good. It's still got a little bit of time to cook, but I'm going to pour all of this bourbon sauce on. And I'm going to actually, because we got to go out and work in the building, this is what the bourbon sauce looks like. So it's got that pretty color. It smells super good, y'all. So we're just going to drizzle the bourbon sauce all over the top. I'm going to kind of separate, because we're going to get as much of this on here, get as much covered as we can with this little bit. Now this you kind of do want on almost every piece. So just kind of zigzag back and forth and get as much of this stuff on here as you can. And then back in the oven we're going to go. I'm just going to cut it off. It's got about 17 minutes left. And I'm just getting all of this goodness out, y'all, because y'all should taste this. Sure. Alright. I had the warmer on. Back in the oven until it's completely set. This will kind of thicken up too. The bourbon sauce will thicken up just a little bit on top. And it's going to be some kind of good, y'all. It smells amazing. Alright, y'all. It is time to get some of the cinnamon roll bread pudding with the bourbon sauce on top. And it's set in the oven, y'all, and that bourbon sauce crystallized around the edges. And a little bit on the top. You can see a little bit of the brown of the bread. We got some little toasty, crunchy tops on. So that's what we wanted, not all soggy everywhere. Let's plate it up and let's see what we look like, y'all. We're going to cut us a little corner out here. Oh my word. Y'all. Look how pretty. Look at that. Oh, I got to have him. He fell off, so he going to get eat. Let me get me a fork, y'all. Alright, so I got me a spoon, y'all. You can put you some whipped cream on here, some ice cream, whatever you want. So let's go in for a little bite and let's taste this cinnamon roll bread pudding with the bourbon sauce on top. Y'all, this is going to be like a diabetic coma. Oh, y'all, don't let your bread, don't let your stale bread go to waste. Absolutely wonderful. This will be in my cookbook. 100% guaranteed. I hope y'all enjoyed this, y'all. As much as I did. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give us a like, give us a share. Make sure you subscribe on our With the Bickhams channel on YouTube. And make sure y'all keep following me on With the Bickhams on our Facebook, FB page, whatever you want to call it. And I hope y'all enjoy that. Cinnamon roll bread pudding with a bourbon sauce on top. I'm Craig with the Bickhams. We'll see y'all on the next recipe. Bye, everybody.